So hello and welcome back once again to another video. In today's video we're going to be looking at the 991, the Porsche. Now I spent a little bit of time on this earlier. Much to my dismay, I forgot to press the record button on the capture card, so I spent about 57 minutes setting the car up and filmed none of it. I filmed all of it on the on my iPhone in here that's filming, but I didn't actually capture any of the footage, so an absolute waste. So maybe this will be a better video now I've got a little bit of a heads up on how the car's going to perform, but I want to do it from the very start again. I'm not going to use any of the setup that I created, because I want you to see the process of how the car sort of becomes drivable, so to speak. All the videos that I create on my channel are really in a way to try and help you understand what's happening with the car so that you can set your own cars up. But hopefully the audio sounds much better. I've got a new microphone that I'm sporting, the YC VM40, it's a Yichung or something like that. That's the headset I'm using. I'll put a link to that in the video, just in case anyone's looking at doing similar YouTube related videos. But yeah, let's go to this setup. I'm using 800 degrees of rotation on the wheel, because that's what the Porsche uses. I'll just double check. Yep, and we're going to start with the aggressive preset. A few changes that we can make straight away is to the brakes, and I think this one can close out as well. We don't really ever use that much braking, and there's no real undulation, so I'm going to lower the front as far as it goes straight away, because obviously we're always trying to lower the car and get the car running as low as possible. Yeah, let's go with that. So as soon as we go into drive, we're going to need to restart, because we know the wheel's not going to be connected. So I'm going to press the Y button and the two squares, and the Y button and the two squares again to bring it from Xbox back into from Xbox to PC mode, and then back into Xbox mode, and then that way I don't have to keep reconnecting the wheel. And there we go again. So we're all connected and we're ready to drive. Let's go for it. So just getting an idea on how the car feels at the minute. Like I said, I've driven here earlier, so I've got a little bit of a heads up on how the car's going to perform. So lots of oversteer on corner exit, which is obviously my fault. So let's just return to the garage. I'd like to get a lap in with how the car is from the very start, so that you can see the progress that we make as we change the setup. So initially, I think there's too much acceleration on corner exit. And we're just going to get an idea of the tyres by the end of the lap, really. Lots of lift off oversteer. Whoa! That's no good at all. Definitely lots of lift off oversteer. So the rear end of the car really isn't settled at all. So let's add some more rear grip. And that's a lot of rear grip that I'm trying to add, because that was a very sudden snap of oversteer. And as you can already see, if you look at this, the wheel rates, it's 14,000 or 140,000, whatever it is anyway, 141 let's call it. It's 141,500, but the rear one is 187,000. So the rear end's far stiffer, so we want to make that less stiff than the front, which means bringing it all the way down. So let's try that. That should be quite a huge difference. But yeah, you don't generally want the rear end harder in a rear wheel drive car, I don't think, unless you're trying to induce some oversteer. If you've got some oversteer issues. Could bring that brake bias a little bit more forward as well. Just trying to get a lap in really. Still feels like there's a bit of snap oversteer. Just not coming all the way off the pedal, because it just feels like it's going to snap any second. Yeah. So we never even got round. So we're still getting that snap of oversteer through the braking phases. So we're already as soft as we can go really. We don't really want to run a really soft setup. So let's just increase that a tiny bit. Increase this side as well, and we could just soften out that rebound a tiny bit at the rear. It's quite a high rebound, and I don't really like that either. You see how the bump is higher than the rebound? I generally like to see that lower than the rebound. It's usually a rule of thumb. I'm just going to lower the rear of the car just to change the rake. We've got 53 at the front and the ride height at the rear, so let's have a 20mm difference in ride height front and rear. Let's see how that goes. Just bring that brake bias a little bit more forward again. Still not got a banker lap in yet, so fingers crossed we can get around the circuit this time. Still a bit unstable at the rear. Almost felt a good level of grip through there. See the rear brakes just still a bit cold, so they could probably close out a tiny bit. And we're just not hitting temperatures on the left hand side of the car. Ooh. Very twitchy still through the rear. So we finally crossed the line in a 205, and still very temperamental at the rear end. So the left hand side of the car, we're still struggling to get some temperatures. So let's put 5 on that side and 5 on this other rear tyre as well. Cambers, we can definitely look at those. Don't think that needs to be so hard, the front, and that the brake that we were changing, oops, the brake balance was better around 55, still running 120 on the preload, so shouldn't really be rotating so much on liftoff. So just lower it a tiny bit more. Can we close out that brake duct? And let's give that another whirl. At least we've got a bit of a ghost to contend with now. A bit too easy on the brakes coming into there. A bit too eager. Just on that first part of the corner, just like a little bit more stability. And again through there, every time. It just feels so unstable. So again, you see if you look at the camber at the rear, there's 5 degrees difference in the temperatures. So I'm just gonna lower these a tiny bit. I'd like to see them a little bit closer. 10 degrees difference on either side of the car, from the outside of the tyre to the inside of the tyre. So the tyre is more like this. I'm just trying to bring it more level so it's more in contact with the road surface. Front tyres, they're the other way really. Could do with a tiny bit more camber on the front really. But still that rear wing, Bruce, bring that down again, 5. Let's go again. Just want to find more stability. Was one thing that is playing on my mind a little bit, why the ABS is on 3. Just feels like it's locking up a tiny bit. I'm just going to increase the traction control on TC2 as well, just more fine tuning. It's the amount of power that's getting delivered, so we're still going to cut the power at the same time, but we're not going to be applying as much power on the throttle with 3.5. A little bit more confidence. Just no confidence there though. Really no confidence at all. Just rear grip. So let's just soften the dampers a little bit at the rear. Soften the rebound a tiny bit, and we can soften that anti-roll bar, and we can still soften these as well. Let's go again. Certainly want to be down in the 202s really, for Xbox anyway. Still felt like I braked a bit late there. Still feels unstable through there. Quite nice through there though. Yep, just cut the grass a little bit. I think I'd just like a little bit more downforce at the rear, and I really do hate having to run so much downforce. It really does annoy me. It just feels like PC can run, this has the same level as grip with half the amount of downforce. Just doesn't feel like the downforce is there at all, or the grip. That's a terrible corner. We'll go with it. Just trying to figure out, obviously with the rake angle, yeah, just no turning at all there. Just felt like the car was lifting off the ground at the front. just trying to build the confidence in the rear of the car at the moment. Definitely suffering with understeer. Having to run so much downforce. Not the best exit through there, just ran too close to the wall, carried too much speed around the corner. Tyres are running too hot now on the right hand side of the car. Oh, they're alright. So 203.5, and let's have a little look at these tyres. Running a tiny bit hot on the right hand side. Very hard to see what's happening with the tyres if we don't cross the line. The details. So a tiny bit of understeer at the front, so we'll bring that down a notch. And let's just get out of wheel. Seem to make a lot of big changes at the start, and then when I start fine tuning it, just little changes here and there. Yeah, just my error that. Still feels really weird through that mountain section. Yeah, not as good a run through there that time. there's definitely some issues. Still with that rear tyres, just running too much camber. See, the inside of the tyre is still so much hotter, 10 degrees difference, and nowhere near as much really at the front, just 4 degrees difference. So it could certainly run a tiny bit more camber up top as well. And try and combat a little bit of the understeer, just softening out that front anti-roll bar. It would be so nice to run less rear downforce because of these long straights. That was a bad run really, too deep into the corner. Let's just return to the garage with the tyres detail. So you can still see at the rear, we've got about 5 degrees difference on this side and then a huge amount on this side. So that's as much as we could lower it on that side. Never thought of running 5 degrees camber at all, but and let's just increase, just to try and get the car to turn a bit better. Feels like it's understeering, yet we've not got much confidence in the rear of the car. I don't want to keep adding rear wing to solve everything, which that seems to be the case with Xbox. Just seems to be so unstable, every car at the rear. My error really. All over the place. just all over the place through there. So again, it's just looking at how much scrubbing is going on at the rear. So let's just get rid of that toe at the rear, because it's obviously not doing anything really. Just getting the inside of that tyre really hot, because the tyres are like this, scrubbing away. Or like that, the rear really. That'll hinder the lap time. So at the minute we really are understeering on turning. I don't think it's down to the brake bias. It's just generally a lack of grip at the front. Just raise that to try and get more rake on the car facing forwards. You know, the front end of the car's nose diving more. There really is a disconnection between the wheel and what the car's doing currently on Xbox. Just want to see how it performs really the rest of the lap. That was terrible. Just trying to carry so much more speed through there. Let's go again, because it doesn't feel too bad, that. Still a lack of sensation from the front of the car, whether you've got grip. You know what, I'm really inclined to change that brake bias, and it does feel too far. It doesn't feel like it's rotating the car enough. terrible really, that. So late on the power. Can't get through there without a lift. Yep, my mistake. Definitely a 202 on. Just like to run less downforce. Nowhere near as good through there. Just not braking enough before the brow of the hill, just out of control. Feels quite nice through this lower section. Just the mountain section really. Need to have gone down really into third gear before that corner. Just can't carry third gear or fourth gear through there. Just imbalances the car too much. thing that's killing me is all this downforce. So 202.7. So after a number of small adjustments, I finally reached a point where the car felt a little bit more stable through the corners to be able to hit a good lap. Still not a given. Not by a long shot. Oh, 2.4. Crazy. So I finally got there. Let's take a little look over this setup into the 202.4, and what a heck of a time it has been trying to get this car in that margin. So there's the setup as it stands. I did make a tiny adjustment to that, so it was 204, TC2 was 4 during that run. Really soft setup at the rear, soft springs. Maybe could do with lowering those a little bit further just to stop any sort of bumping around, but having to run a really maximum rear wing again, like every setup on this game for Xbox. Just no grip at all at the rear end. Don't know what's going on. So I'm going to save that setup. So go to save. 203 in progress. So that was a 20. Yeah, that was a 202. 202.469. So I'll save that setup. 202.469 and fairly stable. is what I'll call it, and it's fast. 39 degrees. (39°C). Just for the conditions, and we'll leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope that's useful. I hope that gets you feeling like you can actually drive the Porsche a little bit. Obviously we're just in hot laps, so you're going to have to set that up slightly different for in a race. Just generally look at the tyres, and the fuel is going to play a big part as well, because of where the fuel is positioned in the car. It's more towards the front of the car, but maybe that'll add a little bit more grip to the front, you never know. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again. Ciao for now.